Not gonna lie, I didn't realize the warm-up music was gonna go so hard. We got the slaps. Thanks for being here, everybody. This stream, by the way, is all about 60,000. We're going to keep it 60,000. I want to thank each and every one of you who subscribes to this channel. That's what the live stream tonight is all about. It's a big thank you. So I'm going to let this ride for a few more minutes. I said 6 o'clock. I got it started early. I see you all in the chat. I'm going to get to all that in a second. Ooh. That beat is coming in hot. Look at it. It's coming in hot right there. I'll be back with you in just a second. Anybody know what time it is? Oh, it's 5:58. We're almost there. Right, back to the warm-up. All right, what do you say we dive into the live chat here first? By the way, I found it surprising that on that poll, more people wanted the live chat than the call-ins. But there was a significant amount of people who liked the call-in. So I'll tell you what, let's take care of the live chat first. Let's try and exhaust that first, even though I probably won't even be able to catch up. And then if we have time, we'll have time. We'll get to the calls. But I'm going to be streaming tonight until about 8 p.m. Pacific time. That's the time limit for your boy tonight. We got people checking in from all over the place, which is always awesome. Toronto, Ontario. I see you. Kenora, Ontario. Mobile, Alabama. Checking in from Dublin. Chris, I'm going to assume that's down 680 and not Dublin, Ireland. Come back to San Jose. Well, I'm down there more than you think. I think I'll be down there this weekend. I'm going to go watch a Sharks game on Saturday night. Another call-in, see? Some people really dig the call-ins here. Dadpool, what's going on? Time does it start? Right now. Oh yeah, here's Brody Brazil. Yeah, I know. People have been commenting a lot lately on the channel intro that I use. It's not a new intro, but all of a sudden people are really catching on to it. Diamondbacks to Oakland? I don't know about that. I mean, it's an interesting situation down there. Chase Field's not even 30 years old. It needs some repairs. It probably, realistically, might be cheaper to do something else entirely than to fix everything up and then have to, every 20 years, put some more hundreds of millions of dollars into it. But no, I hope that's not the case. Arizona's already been through enough with their sports teams. Riverview, Florida. Darla's in California. So am I. Holy shiitake. What's up, my fellow broders? I like that. Bamboo Soldier. Bamboo, how are you? Good to see you in the chat. Oh, hello from Puerto Rico. I love that. I love being all across, the continent, the globe. Whether it's a state, a territory, a different country. I'll take anything and everything. A different continent. Another Brody stream. Heartbroken that the Sharks lost Mackenzie Blackwood. You know, I didn't really do anything on YouTube about the Mackenzie Blackwood trade. I made kind of a social media comment on Twitter. I'm going to Twitter. Tired of figuring out like what I'm going to say last minute. Twitter. Here's what I said about Mackenzie Blackwood. It's my personal thought here. He was one of the team's best goalies in a long while. And you know what? Here's another one. Somebody asked me the other day, who is the Sharks' all-time number one netminder? And everybody's going to have a different answer, whether you're from the Artur Survey era, whether you love Nabby. I think the best era of Sharks goaltending was Kiprusoff, Evgeny Nabokov, and Vesa Toskala. I think that was kind of the trifecta when they all merged, and that was the pinnacle of as deep as they ever were. Obviously, Martin Jones is the only goalie who's ever brought the team to a Stanley Cup final. Niemi didn't, unfortunately, do what everybody hoped he had done. Mackenzie Blackwood was a very good netminder, but my point here on the tweet was that his rising trajectory, Blackwood's, was never really going to sync up with where the franchise was in timing out their rebuilding. And I had said this a lot. I wish the Sharks had him 6 years ago, like in 2019 or 18, and I wish they had him 3 years from now. It's just that right now, the value for him was obvious for another team. So the Sharks know what they're doing. They got some players back. They got some draft picks back. Such is the case when you're not there yet, and you still have some more of these shuffling moves to do. But I understand. Blackwood was good to the Sharks. Am I going to talk about Jacob Trouba? Absolutely heartless of the Rangers to rip him away from his family while his wife is stuck in New York doing residency until July. I mean, it sounded like a completely messy situation when you're the captain of the team and the team has, it's just a lot of internal stuff that I'm not sure is seeing the light of day. So who really knows? I have a hard time commenting on things like this of an intimate nature, an intricate nature that I don't really have all the details on. But yeah, it doesn't seem great, huh? And I always thought about Jacob Trouba as a captain, a different type of captain for the Blue Shirts. So it's interesting. It's not great. I know he's in Anaheim now. We'll see how that goes for the Ducks. By the way, a lot of people looked at the Ducks last couple of years and said, oh, they're rebuilding. They're ahead of the Sharks in the rebuild. Who's ahead now? And I'm not saying that in spite of the Ducks. Just saying it really does seem like this year the Sharks rebuild has taken some obvious steps and maybe ahead of some other teams that are doing the same thing. Jane, hello from Humboldt. The intro was beautifully nostalgic. Appreciate that. Chris P, thank you. I feel like an old goat, but if you're putting me in the greatest of all time conversation, I will take that. Burnes coming to the Giants. Corbin Burnes, huh? And Tucker as well. We shall see. Willie Adames. This was crazy, by the way. I should probably just pull it up on Instagram. Hang on a second here. Willie Adames did kind of like a hype video intro situation. for joining the Giants, and I couldn't help but notice at the very beginning of his hype video. I'll play it here so you can hear it. Listen to this video. Maybe I'll just show it to you too. Watch. Here's the hype video. Thomas has signed a 7-year deal with the San Francisco Giants. It's their largest in franchise history.
I'm glad you brought him up because I don't think we talked about
Willie Adames' team, his social team, used my voice at the beginning of his video here. 49-year-old Willie Adames has signed a 7-year deal with the San Francisco Giants. It's their largest in franchise history.
I'm glad you brought him up because I don't think we talked about him enough.
Thanks, Willie. I won't ask you for any royalties on that. In all seriousness, I don't need any. I appreciate that. That was very kind of you to use that. Where are we on the chat here? Dadpool, congrats on the 60K. Thank you. I appreciate that. David, thank you very much. Did Corbin Burnes just really go to the Giants? Am I missing this? Wait, I thought that was a I thought that was a suggestion here. I don't see anything official here. I'm looking at the latest. Corbin Burnes. You know, I search Twitter, right? Corbin Burnes. Anything on the latest? I don't know. Interesting. Well, keep an eye on it. When I see that, it makes me be like, wait, did that happen? That's the speed of the world these days. I have to check other places. I would text somebody if I really wanted to know, but Daniel, I appreciate that. Thank you for being in the Super Chat. Thank you for being first in the Super Chat tonight. That is fantastic. And by the way, I will try and expedite all the Super Chat questions first. I'll get to those as fast as I can. Oh, I see another one here from Adam. Should the A's play all their Jays games in Vancouver? There might be a bigger and better stadium in Vancouver. Could they use BC Place? I'm not sure if there's ever been a baseball game at BC Place. Do they have a configuration for that? I know they can do a Taylor Swift concert there because my wife was just at a Taylor Swift concert in Vancouver. It's going to be interesting to have 2 major league teams this year in minor league ballparks. Unprecedented. And for anybody who says, oh, it'll be fine, trust me, it'll be fine. How do you know? In the individual and respective situations, sure, there's a lot of people taking a lot of precautions and trying to get ahead of a lot of curves here, but we just don't know what most people are going to think about Steinbrenner Field in Tampa and Sutter Health Park in West Sacramento. Let's see where we're at here, man. Hey, Zeus, go Halos. Okay, that's on the screen. You got that on the screen. Appreciate that. Let's see. Niners are cooked if they lose. Yeah, if we want to talk hockey, they are on the thinnest ice possible right now. They cannot afford to lose any more games the rest of this season. They just went through their 2 toughest, I think. A couple toughest back-to-back games on the road. We'll see what the division part of the more division games of the schedule brings for them. Katie, thank you for being one of those 60,000. What? This isn't the Brady Argentina channel? You don't know how many comments I still get to this day as a 43-year-old man. Are you from Brazil? Do you have any connections to Brazil? Have you ever been to Brazil? The answer is always no. I mean, I wish I could go visit there. I'd like to. But none of the above, unfortunately. This is how far behind I am in the chat. David was commenting when I just started. Bamboo Soldier's been here since 15K. Yeah, to be quite honest, this channel, I think it was at 24,000 at the beginning of this year. And it's closing out the year at 60 plus, so pretty satisfied with this year of 2024. Arizona Red, love the channel, bro. I appreciate that. Thank you, Arizona Red. Very kind of you. Oh, I do see another super chat to get to here. As a Mets fan, really enjoy your videos. Keep up the great work and continued success. Peb Mets. Am I saying that right? Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And maybe it just made it orange for the Mets, like blue and orange for the Mets. You know, a crazy one about the Metropolitans, if I might. I ask a lot of people if they know this. Why are the Mets colors blue and orange. And they don't necessarily know. So if you don't know either and you're watching this, consider this the trivia lesson for the day. When the Dodgers and Giants both left New York, they eventually created the Mets. And if you think about blue from the Dodgers, orange from the Giants, mash it together, kind of in a tribute or a replacement of the two teams that left, that's how the Mets got their colors. So there you go. I don't know if most people know that, but that's what you get here on the channel. You get some takeaways for the live stream. But honestly, I do appreciate that. I think the Mets are an interesting study in how much they're spending, and then they kind of got away from spending, and now they're back into spending, and Juan Soto is certainly going to be a situation to monitor and follow. Is it going to be just a 5-year thing? Then he'll opt out? Of the 15-year contract, how many World Series do the Mets have to win for it to be successful? Like, I don't care about how many MVPs can Soto win or batting titles or whatnot. It's a team effort. It's a team result that they're after. And if Juan Soto doesn't help the team and isn't part of a team that captures like at least 3 World Series in 15 years, $765 million just may not be worth the spending, you know? It's a hard one. It's a really hard one to put together. Alex Pavlovich just reported that Burnes to the Giants. I mean, see, now we got to get on this here. I mean, it's very possible this is happening. I don't see this yet. I think Pabs' Twitter is awfully quiet. Willie Adames is going to wear number 2 for the Giants. That's Pabs' last tweet, not 27. Obviously, that's retired. Can I cover more MLS soccer? You know what? I just don't have the entire bandwidth at this moment. I got to be honest. Soccer for me has always been one that I watch and I appreciate, and I love watching soccer. But I've even tried to have the habit of waking up early on weekends to get some Premier League in me. And it's been easier this fall as I remain unemployed to wake up and watch some with my son. We watched a couple Chelsea matches recently, but I feel like I need to focus more on the Premier League first, maybe, than MLS, even though MLS is like obviously right on the doorstep, being in North America. Good evening from snowy Alberta. Marty, I wonder where you're at in Alberta. I was up in Banff with my wife back in May. Beautiful. I've been to Calgary and Edmonton as well, but I know Calgary kind of neighbors of Banff, but I imagine, December 11th, it could be treacherous outside right now. Checking in from Philly, Napa, California. What do you mean, well, Santa Cruz? Is it Napa or Santa Cruz? Those are two different things. You're either north of me or south of me. Is the audio out of sync? That would not be good. Tell me, is somebody... let me turn the music down for a second. Somebody tell me if the audio is out of sync. If my lips are moving at a different time as you're hearing the words. Are we in sync or are we out of sync? Checking in from Gainesville, Florida. Erie, Pennsylvania. Visalia, California. The inner sunset. Love that. Checking in from Denver. Berkeley in the house. Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Detroit. 9 p.m. here in Philly, and I don't want to talk, just chat. Long day at work. I'm sorry about that, California Condor, that it was a long day. Obviously, you have ties to the West Coast, your avatar there, and the Golden Gate Bridge. We do have some more super chats. They just popped up. Let me see what we got here. We've already got to that one. I apologize. I am so far behind in this. Let me see what this next one is here. David saying, so speaking of minor league stadiums, who else wants to see Brody rank his favorite minor league baseball team names? Oh, David, do you realize what you just did? You just donated to the channel, which I appreciate. That helps this thing run. That helps all the costs that I try and cover here on the back end. But you also gave me an idea for this video, which I am now absolutely going to do. So I usually write it down in a little notes application here. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to take a picture of it. That's what I'm going to do because I don't want to waste your time and type this down here. So let me get the camera out. And, it's on me. Sorry. You know what? I'll just take it on that screen right there. Done. Got your idea. I love that. And yes, the Rocket City Trash Pandas, they got to be up there, right? That has to be up there. Oh, looks like I'm in sync. Oh, and Moonglow. Come on. Bye. All right? Hey. In sync. It's good for me. Working for you. Perfect. Thank you, everybody, for the spot check. I really do appreciate that. Was there one more? Is it Yan or Yan? Yan Zhao? Will you be attending the first game at Sutter Health? Negative. Will I ever attend a game there? Unlikely. I was talking to a friend of the channel, Casey Pratt, on a interview segment the other day, and this topic came up. What do we do? Do we continue to cover the A's situation? Do we let it go to somebody else? I think we both felt the responsibility that not on an everyday basis, but as major developments happen, I mean, this is like a baseball game. This saga is like a game, and the game is not officially complete until 27 outs are recorded or have been made by one team. And in this case, the A's are playing a baseball game at the site of the Tropicana Hotel. That is kind of the end of the story and the saga and the chapter and whatever. Until that happens, and considering how detailed I've been in this process and covering it all for, better or worse or whatever, I just feel the responsibility to keep tabs on what exactly is going on. I said it like this to Casey. If you saw a car swerving and speeding past you, I mean, a lot of times you can let it go and say, well, I wonder how that's going to end. But in this case, we've been like flying over it in a helicopter, so I'm going to kind of keep watching this car swerving around and see where it ultimately goes. That's the professional side. Now, if there were a job that required me to be around and cover a baseball game in West Sacramento, that's my job. I'll do the best of my abilities, of course. Like I'm a pro above everything else, right? But at the same point, if you're asking me like on my personal time or free time, no chance. And somebody mentioned this to me once, that it might be a healing experience for me to go see the team play and the players I like and the colors I grew up on. No, I don't think in any way, shape, or form that would be a healing experience. So I know you're asking, out of curiosity, and I appreciate the question. It's a good question. But no, I don't think that's in the cards for me at all. Chattanooga. I love that. Mason, thank you for being here. Mario and Foxy, Los Angeles. Dodger Blue 55. Oh, wait, a Dodger fan in Las Vegas? You don't say. You don't say that there's a lot of Dodger fans in Las Vegas. Like when any baseball team arrives there, whether it's the A's or an expansion team or any other major league team, the Dodgers are still largely going to be the most popular team and have the biggest fan base in Las Vegas before anybody else. That's crazy, but it's not crazy. This is Chad checking in from Stockton. It feels surreal that the A's won't be in Oakland. So raw, still, and hurts. But at least we have Team Teal. Chad, I first off, I appreciate you being here on the Super Chat. Let me also say that I entirely agree with this sentiment, that I don't think most people have realized the full effect of the trauma yet of the A's departure. In a sense that we all saw the process of them detaching. We all saw them play their last game in Oakland at the Coliseum, September 26th. But now it's not like the A's aren't going to exist somewhere else. It's not like they're changing their name. In the case of the Arizona Coyotes, they turned into the Utah Hockey Club. And so at least for Coyotes fans, true hardcore fans, they don't have to watch their team wearing their colors and their logo playing in front of other fans like it's always been their fans. Same thing with the Expos. They moved from Montreal to Washington, D.C. They turned into the Nationals. At least fans in Montreal got to keep wearing their Expos hats as a sign of pride and as a sign of something that existed. In the case of the A's and them not changing their name and them taking their logo and them taking everything with them, it offers a totally different experience for people in Oakland to just not even want to have a hat or a shirt or anything that they kept from before. And that's why so many people are absolutely detaching. And not to mention, there's the whole other part of this, that when it turns into April and May and June and people drive up and down 880, or they take a BART train and it makes the Coliseum stop, and they look over on a Saturday afternoon and nothing's going on over there. That's going to be, I think, as hard as it was to witness the final game and as hard as it was to watch the entire process of evolution of the team not getting it together with the city and not staying and turning their back and doing all this stuff. I think the reality of it, when it sinks in, the absence that exists, when it sinks in and when it's realized, when it's tangible, I think that's going to be equally hard as what we've already been through, or maybe even more difficult for most people to process. So, Chad, I didn't mean to go too long on that, but your point is extremely valid. It says here that Robson Lopes became a new member of the channel. Robson, thank you so much. Welcome to exclusive access. By the way, what I've tried to do here on the channel with the members only section, a long while ago when I started it, didn't mean for that to happen. A long while ago when I started it, no, I don't mean for that to happen either. Now I got wonky and now I'm just punching buttons. When I started the members only section, I was going to do separate videos. I was going to do things that were unique to the members, and that just took a little bit too much effort, bandwidth. It just took too much process for me to do. And so what I've really settled in on is to try and give members the earliest look at the videos that are about to come out. In a lot of cases, my videos are maybe a day or two ahead. They can't be too far ahead, otherwise they get stale and out of date. But a lot of times I'm a day or two ahead on a video, and so I make sure that the members get to see it first. And that's one of the biggest perks of the members only section. Two big things about it. Number one, and I'm not here to sell it, really. Join it or don't. That's fine. It's fine if you don't. I appreciate it if you do. But that section is there for two things. Number one, for you to get the early access to watch all the videos before anybody else and before they come out. And second, I mean, I see all the icons and the little stars that exist when people are making comments, and don't think for a second that I read those ones first, and I try to reply to as many of those as I can before anything else. So there are perks to this. I try and keep it literally at the smallest price point per month, but I really appreciate anybody who gets in on that. Another super chat here. Let me go back to that. Charlie checking in from Connecticut. Just a thought. What if the Los Angeles Angels relocated to Oakland? Charlie, it's not like what you're saying, and I think what you're saying here, just a thought. And I agree. Let's go in on just that thought, right? So this is not a rumor. This is not any reality to this. But it's crazy the way you could instantly say no to this is, why would a team want to go from the second biggest media market to like the 10th? Because that doesn't make sense. Why would the Angels want to move away from all the television sets, all the people, all the fans, pretty good attendance in Anaheim? I know they're trying to build a new development in their parking lot, and they've been trying to upgrade Angel Stadium again, and they've been trying to make it a more modern experience. And look, they've now got to compete kind of with the Dodgers. I totally get it. Why maybe they feel stuck in the mud. But why would they want to go to a much smaller market where they're still kind of the second team in town, right? Instead of go to their own town. But here's the crazy part. Going from market number 2 to 10, is that as bad as the Oakland A's going from market number 10 to market number 40 in Las Vegas? They're going from 10 to 19 in Sacramento to 40 in Las Vegas. So when you say just a thought, and we're both probably on the same page, yeah, this is pretty far-fetched, but considering what baseball is doing right now and what the A's are trying to do right now, like it makes what the A's are doing make this look a lot more real, like a lot more possible. Anyway, yeah, it's definitely, it's an interesting situation what the Angels are going through. They're in a unique spot, but they're still a number 2 team in a number 2 market, and I think that's got them staying there. I did see somebody say here, SGA Sports Talk channel, you missed my super chat. I really apologize about that. Let me try and go back here. Oh, here's another one that I missed. From a personal perspective, would you rather have the A's in Sacramento or Las Vegas? I'll say this. I think there are more people who actually want the team in Sacramento, like Sacramentans who want the team in Sacramento, than there are Las Vegans who want the team in Las Vegas. Las Vegas has enough stuff going on. And I don't mean that like, oh, they don't deserve this or they don't deserve a major league team or an expansion team. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that Sacramentans like have actually some ambition for this. For decades, there have been groups of fan bases up in Sacramento that came down to the Coliseum to try and poach the A's back then. They tried to poach the Giants over the years. There has been some clamoring for baseball in Sacramento. And it's a much bigger market, and there are more diverse industries in terms of sponsorships and business opportunities for a baseball team. So I get it. Las Vegas, a global spotlight, brings in a ton of tourists. If you're Major League Baseball and you're just simply trying to promote your brand a little bit, then yeah, maybe to some degree, Las Vegas is a business move. It's a move for you. But the more sustainable, clearly sustainable option for the A's would be Sacramento. So I know, Alistair, you're asking me from my personal perspective here, and I'm kind of giving you the logistics of the business side. Yeah, of course. You know what? Had the A's said a long time ago, we're having a problem with Oakland, we're going to go straight to Sacramento, and we're going to stay in Sacramento. We're trying to keep it a drive away. We just can't do it here. Here would have been the best possible solution for Sacramento had the A's handled it like this. Okay, here's what we've done. Here's what we've tried. Here's how it didn't work. Here's how we made all the possible effort we could. We tried again. Here's everything we did. Let me show you the math. Here's all the evidence of what we did. Put it all out on the table. Here's why Oakland doesn't work. Here's why we can't move to San Jose. Here's why we can't move to Santa Clara. Here's everything on the table. So we're going to go to Sacramento, and that's going to be our new home. And that's the next best thing for the East Bay community, because although it's not right around the corner anymore, you can hop in your car, you can still come to an A's game in Sacramento. And that would be their end game. But that's not their end game. Their plan is to use Sacramento, not even use the name, not even recognize the name. And I think I saw tickets at the cheapest are going to be in the $70-something range, which, last couple of years would have bought you a front row ticket in the 100 level sections. It's just, I think I would have never felt great about the A's leaving Oakland. I would have seen this entirely different had the A's just decided Sacramento is where we're going to go. This is our next best thing. It's the only thing that makes sense. I would have understood that. But that's clearly not what's happening here. Still trying to go back to find SGA. I am trying to find this one here for you, and I do not see it. It might have been up above. Oh, SGA keeps saying you missed my super chat, and I don't see it here anywhere. And I'm going back to the very top. SGA, if you put it in there, I'm going to go try and find it again. Just don't super chat me again. Oh no, this isn't it. Just put it in again, and I will find your next comment, and I will consider that the super chat. So thank you, and I apologize about that. Steven here saying, hey Brody, Steve here from Salinas, life of a Raiders and A's fan. Please share our thoughts on UFL expansion. Could Oakland see a resurgence of the Oakland Invaders? Why isn't this being talked about more? I don't know about. I certainly, I'll tell you this. And Stephen, again, thank you for being on the super chat. That's first and foremost. As people in Oakland talk about, and let me just see is there one more super? Was this the other one here? Sorry, I got totally distracted. The one thing I will say about Oakland and anything future sports related, pro sports related, like the NFL to me, as much as baseball is some possibility, like a slight possibility of coming back or anything else coming back, it feels like the NFL is probably the least possible sport that ever returns to Oakland. And I say that because the NFL is now focused on Europe. I just saw today, I think it's Germany next year. They'll play a regular season game over in Germany for the very first time. They are more focused on Mexico City, Germany, London, all of these international destinations than they ever would be of coming back to a place they've already been. And the NFL especially, and I know your question here is on the UFL, but the NFL especially, because they're trying to do the sexy moves, right? They're trying to do the things that catch more attention and eyeballs and business and sparkle. But that established, I don't know about any other football league, and all of them have tried. None of them have really lasted a long time, the XFL included, and the USFL and all that stuff. None of them have really sustained to be the summer, spring, and summer football league that people are still willing to support and go to games and all that stuff. I don't know. I don't think that's the worst thing for Oakland, but they've already committed that field to being a soccer pitch that the Roots and Soul are going to play on. And I don't know if they want to reconfigure the stadium. That costs a ton of money, like hundreds of thousands of dollars every time they flip the stadium from, and I guess in this case, they're not doing it from baseball to football, but if they were really to put the Mount Davis 50-yard line seats in, where center field used to be on the baseball configuration, my point is, I don't know if it's ever going to be truly worth it to do that the right way, at least at the Coliseum. That is a bad site for that. In my opinion, if you're any professional football league, why wouldn't you just start a team and try and play games at Cal, at Memorial Stadium, or at Stanford, right? It's already a stadium that exists. It's configured for football. I don't know. It's a hard thing for me to see at the Coliseum, but I appreciate that. Brian, could you see Major League Baseball giving Oakland expansion team just like when the A's left Kansas City and Kansas City got the Royals? Brian, thank you for being on the Super Chat. I do have an actual video I made maybe within the last month about this. In fact, I think it was about 3 weeks ago. Check mid to late November, and it's basically to show you the story of how when Charlie Finley was owning the A's in Kansas City and teased them to maybe be going to Denver or Dallas or Kentucky, and he tried Oakland once, they said no. He tried Oakland again, they finally said just go. And I don't know if it was Kansas City politicians or state of Missouri politicians that went right after baseball and threatened to go against the exemption, the antitrust exemption. They tried to go right after it. And so baseball was kind of forced to be in a situation where they had to award Kansas City a brand new baseball team. And it was the Royals 1 year later. It's amazing. It really is amazing that Kansas City worked so quickly to get a team. Like the A's were gone and the Royals existed 1 year later. And that's not going to repeat itself. It doesn't seem like in Oakland. Now, to your point, Brian, there's two parts about it. There's the fact that the A's left Kansas City and a new team came up there, but they were proactive about it. Now there's the sense that the A's have left Oakland, and is anybody proactive about this? I also made another video about that, and it's to show you that maybe the time is right at this moment, at this juncture, for there to be some type of, what did I call it? Not a focus group. I think I called it a task force. That's what I called it, a task force. Now would be the time for a task force to come out and get politicians and sports leaders together and financial leaders together and everybody in a room that wants to see this happen. And they come up with some messaging and a theme, and they also have to really secure a location or two. They have to make this turnkey for Major League Baseball. So do I think that baseball is going to award this just because of hurt feelings? Absolutely not. I think Oakland would really have to go out and work for it, and I don't know at this point anybody is doing that or is even motivated to do that, to be quite honest with you. Bay Photo saying Vegas Aces fans seem disappointed that the team let Kate Martin get drafted to the Valkyries. I know it's petty, but that slight taste of the Bay Area taking from Vegas for once was oh so sweet. I knew the draft was going on, the expansion draft for the Valkyries was going on the other day. And it was hard for me to process because I'm just not familiar with all of when I say the names versus what is the player, the talent level, what are we getting here? And it's almost, I would imagine, somebody who's new to the NHL when Seattle Kraken had their expansion draft or when the Golden Knights had their expansion draft. And you're like, okay, these are a lot of mid-level names from different teams, and that's how the WNBA expansion draft worked. There were protected players, and then there was the ability to select for the Valkyries a player off of every team. And you don't know how it's going to work out. So I think that was the curious thing. I saw the names and faces, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's great, but we don't know anything about you yet. At least I don't. But I look forward to that. And you know what? I truly think about the Valkyries that for a lot of people who are not in tune yet with the WNBA in Northern California, this is the gateway, right? This is the entry. This is the reason to watch now. And I think the Bay Area has been long overdue for a WNBA franchise. I think that was kind of up to the Warriors, and like they were not dragging their feet, but they had a lot of other things going on in the last decade, like winning a bunch of titles, building a new arena. And they finally got around to this, and I'm glad they did, because now maybe when the Warriors kind of don't have a Steph Curry anymore and don't have a Draymond Green anymore, that the Valkyries will also be one of their properties, and they'll be something to watch in basketball in the summer months at Chase Center. So, Bay Photo, you seem to know more about that than I do, and I think that's, to your point, I think that's hilarious, the reversal of fortunes there. All right, let me see what we got here. I am so far behind on the chat. I know I say that all the time. We talked about the Angels to... here's another one here from Douglas. I grew up as an Angels fan in San Jose. So many times I saw the A's beat them in Oakland in the wackiest ways and almost hated it. But man, I miss it now. And you know what? I think even to watch the opposing team's broadcasts when they came into the Coliseum this past year and to hear what their announcers said about the Coliseum, it was almost like, some people say this when they hear a lot about themselves or something that they're so familiar with, it's almost like attending your own funeral a little bit. And to hear what all the other Major League broadcasts were saying about the Coliseum and the visits and the A's fans and the teams over the years, in a way, almost like healing that they had these appreciations for the A's and the fan base and the experience and whatever, but sad because still, even with those feelings now exposed, right, nothing new or different is going to come out of it. Oh, I already got to that one, Steve. I'm sorry. I think I saw that one on there twice. David saying, speaking of the WNBA, anyone else agree that the Toronto Tempo name logo is just plain old bad? Yeah. I saw that the other day, and I was like, is that really their name, the Toronto Tempo, huh? Speaking of women's sports, too, the PWHL, I saw that the Toronto, they now added... team names, monikers for the existing teams, and it's the Toronto Scepters, which is cool because you're like, that's unique. It's certainly off the radar of, you're not copying any other sports teams, but their logo is TS, right, across the chest and the crest. And the TS, if you look at a Taylor Swift music video, I think it was Shake It Off, it's like the exact same TS. It's almost like, and I think the Scepters were actually at one point even tweeting at Taylor Swift, like, have you seen this? Wink, wink. We might have done this for you. So, I realize when you start a new team, it's going to be hard to really hit the logo and the name and get everybody on board. There's a lot of cooks in the kitchen usually, right? It's hard to do something that is so universally liked, but, and sometimes it's got to be out there. It's got to be different. It's got to invoke a conversation. Toronto Tempo, the worst name. Whoa, in sports, the 2026 WNBA. Yeah, I tried to catch up here, but what I'm doing is digging through the super chat. When those pop up, I definitely try and get to those first. Here's another one. Do you think the A's will struggle with attendance in Vegas? Is banking on tourism really a good idea? Jesus, I think you're asking that question rhetorically, aren't you? I don't know if any other sports team in the history of professional sports has gone into the situation thinking or knowing or expecting that something like 30% of their tickets sold are going to go to people that don't even live there. Now, Las Vegas is different in some ways. Humanity, though, is humanity across the map, across the globe, and especially the sports community across like North America with Major League Baseball. You can tell me that, yeah, Las Vegas gets more tourism than most places. But you know what? I think, was it Miami? Has more tourists per year? And a lot of this might be cruise ship vacationers. But the point is like, I think Miami's right up there with tourism too. But Miami doesn't doesn't have the Marlins. Well, first off, the Marlins attendance is really bad, but they're not saying, well, all these people are going to come in and make sure they go to a Marlins game. It's a little bit different on the Strip. The A's are playing in a very touristy area. They're right next to the airport. I get that. But how many people, and when you go to Las Vegas, how many people are actually there seeming like they wanted to go take in a Major League Baseball game? I mean, bachelor parties and shows and one-off events like a fight or a football game, I totally get, but are they there to see the Cleveland Guardians on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday night? Probably not in the middle of the summer months. And so I think, I think the fact that it's unprecedented is a huge part of that. But I also think the common sense of this blows my mind. It'd be one thing if they said, you know what, 7% of our tickets are going to come from tourism. I'd say, okay, 7%. And this is, by the way, what was pitched to lawmakers in the state of Nevada to approve SB 1, which was, $380 million, right? This is what was pitched to Nevada to move forward with this project, is that 30% of attendance would be taken care of by tourism. Again, it's a numbers game. If you said 7%, I might buy that. 30%? Show me where else that exists. So I don't know if they'll struggle with overall attendance. I still think you get something new like that in the first couple years, first year or two, maybe even 3, there's a honeymoon effect. That is bound to happen. But what you're seeing with the Raiders right now and other teams' fans taking over the stadium, what if that effect, and I'm not even saying what if, that effect won't happen in Major League Baseball? Fans are not going to come midweek like they do on one Sunday because it's perfect, right? You fly in on Friday, you gamble and booze it up on Saturday, you do what you're going to do, then you go to the Raiders, but you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. You go watch your Steelers play on Sunday. Sunday night, you fly out. Maybe you do the red eye situation back to Pittsburgh or whatever. I just don't see this same thing happening. People will travel for a football game. There's only 8 home games, 9 home games a year for every team. They'll do this for football. I just don't think they'll do it for Major League Baseball. And I'm not alone. I mean, there's so many people in this same mindset. Squirrel. Shh. Yeah. See, you might have said that, Eric, when I got distracted earlier. I get so distracted when there's multiple things going on here. And I mean, look at all the screens that I'm navigating and the equipment I'm navigating, making sure that the stream is actually going on and out as it's supposed to here. Let me see what else we got here. Ruben. Hey, Brody, wanted to thank you for everything that you've been doing and covering. Thanks for everything that you do. Keep it up, G. I will. I appreciate that. Las Vegas Stadium is tiny. Well, that's another part of it, too. I mean, I've now seen a little bit more detailed renderings and depictions. And I don't know, are they going to have to dig that thing way down into the ground more? Is that how you get more people and space and seats in there? Ballpark Pretzel, thank you so much. Did I miss it, Ballpark? Man, you know what? If I'm missing super chats, this is something I pride myself on, is trying to see all the super chats here. So, Ballpark, if you want to send it again, I'm going to try and look for it. There was also the other one. It was DFS. Still looking for that comment here. Did I miss DFS? I'm also somebody who hates a lot of silence on the live stream. AJ saying a task force. How about a blue ribbon panel? Yeah, just those 3 words, blue ribbon panel put together. Yikes. They get me going the wrong way. I did answer this one earlier. Would you go to the first game at Sutter Health Park, LA Visual Studios? Negative. And if you want to see my answer like in full, that's about probably 20 minutes ago here on the live stream. Professionally, if it was part of my job and I had to do it, sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm a pro. I'll do it. But personally, no chance. You're missing super chats because you're taking 5 minutes to answer a 30-second question. AJ, since you know me and you know me too well, you are absolutely right about that. My bad. Adam saying the Rays missed a massive opportunity. They should have gone to a 28,000-seat Mexico City stadium, 20 million population and a TV audience. Oh, I see see squirrel ballpark. I see your question. I'll get to that one next here. Let me get to Adams here first. I don't know that the Rays are in position right now to just up and leave. Think about how many dynamics are going on here. Like normally, if the Tropicana roof thing didn't happen with Hurricane Milton, they would probably have a little bit more of a wiggle room and an exit out of this entire situation. How bad would it look if a Major League Baseball team kind of said, well, nope, 2029, we can't do it. We can't afford this project anymore. We're out. But the real thing is that the roof got ripped off. And so because of a hurricane, we're leaving. How bad would that? I mean, because the optics of that are terrible, and that narrative would exist. So I also think, too, with Mexico City, elevation is extreme. Travel is a little bit difficult, but elevation is extreme. I don't know that they want another high-altitude ballpark as high as Mexico City is, which also brings me to Salt Lake City. And I know we talk a lot about Utah here on this channel. They do have $900 million in Utah, but that's another high-altitude and elevation ballpark. I'm not sure that baseball necessarily wants that from a game perspective, but also a player conditioning perspective either. Ballpark Pretzel asking, boy, is it 6:46 already? Time is flying. Question is, why the A's and San Jose, in your opinion, didn't work out? Well, that part was pretty clear in retrospect. It's that the Giants claimed that San Jose and Santa Clara County were their territory. They were trying to protect a lot of sponsorships and business connections that they had and still have in the South Bay. And so they went to baseball and said, this is ours. Do you side with us or them? And baseball said, we side with you. And it's also interesting, too, when you really think about it, that San Jose has the single A Giants. I mean, San Francisco Giants, as a major league team, to have your single A team about 50 or so miles away, that's all, and that's been long standing. Like that relationship has been going on for a very long time. So it's not to say that like there's not any other team down there. There is, it's one of their own, but it doesn't obviously compete with going, a San Jose Giants game and a San Francisco Giants game, two totally different price points, experiences, all that stuff. So they've probably never seen their single A team as competition, more of a boost to just their identity in the community. But that it's not really my opinion. I mean, there's not much opinion to it. That's fair or not. A lot of people will say unfair, but that's why it never happened. And quite honestly, I still think, that should be revisited. Is San Jose part of the San Francisco market? The A's would have been trying to move from 8 miles away. Oracle Park and the Coliseum as the crow flies are about 8 miles away. The A's would have been trying to move 40-something miles south, farther away from the Giants. But they recognized where a lot of their sponsors and some of their fan base was down in the South Bay. A second super chat here from Yan or Yan, and I apologize that I always worry about pronunciation. If you've watched any of my live streams, and I have a worst fear in my brain that I'm saying your name totally wrong, and I might be getting it. That's why I tried a couple different ways. I sent a second super chat. Did the player wish you well on the last day? The players? Maybe you're talking about the A's. I didn't really have a lot of interaction with pretty much anybody besides my coworkers on the last day of A's baseball, if that's what it was. And I apologize if that wasn't it. And I apologize if I missed it earlier. Dodger Blue 55, do you use OBS? If not, what is your stream/broadcast program of choice? I do not use OBS for this stuff. I do have OBS on both of my Macs over here. Actually, the computers are over here, but I'm using this. It's called an A10 Mini Extreme. This is handling it in tandem with this Stream Deck right here and some macros that I make. This is handling all of the different graphics, like, at the beginning of the show when I was doing this, or, different things when I want to put up just the live chat, or when I want to put up just the GoPro without it, or the GoPro with it. All the different things we can do. Ooh, should I do this? Oh, yeah. Subscribe to the channel. While you're here, if you're watching the live stream, I think this is the way I've got it configured. The only way to comment in the live chat is to subscribe. This side, subscribe to the channel. So there you go. I appreciate everybody who's who's already doing that. And yes, by the way, this live stream is to celebrate 60,000 subscribers, which the channel just passed, I don't know, a week or two ago. But it's crazy because I feel like at the end of baseball season, it hit 50. And now we're here in December and it's 60. And I don't know, maybe January we'll get to 70, February 70. I don't know. But maybe 100,000 is in the works for 2025. We shall see. Do you have, got to make sure I'm reading the chat here. Do you have Celebrini, Michkov, or Stankoven winning the Calder? Yeah, I mean, I think I'm not ready to go there yet. I mean, we need more than half a season, right? They're all different players, different situations, different expectations. I'll just say this about Macklin. He has been at least as advertised, if not a whole lot more. And just watching his leadership and watching him talk to teammates on the bench and watching the assist he had last night to Luke Cunnin, deking and heads up the entire the guy doesn't look down at the puck. He's able to play make. Is that the right way to say he is such a playmaker because he never actually has to look at making the play like so many NHL players. I mean, they're the best in the world, but even they sometimes have to maneuver and look around. He is like his head, his body does this, hands do this, head does this. Well, actually, I take it back. His head is not fixed, but he's constantly just looking around like, what can I do? What play can I make? Scott Hannon, as a defenseman for the Sharks, used to be that same way too. Bringing the puck up the ice, head up the entire time. I think that tells you the confidence he's got, the skill set he's got, and why he's going to be tremendous in this league. And we're just seeing the start of it. I don't want to go to the Calder Brainy conversation yet, but eventually, you know what? January, February, we can dive into that a little bit more. AJ, if Fisher and Cavill were drowning in the bay and you could only save one of them, what kind of beer would you go drink? I will just read that and let that be. I will let that sit on the screen for a second. That is I appreciate first off, AJ, the super chat. Appreciate that. But for you to get one in like that, I'll let you do it. I really will. I think gambling is part of the A's motive for the move, Ruben. I don't think so at all because I don't know geographically what location really means to gambling anymore. And Major League Baseball is not going to allow, we know this has been established, they're not going to allow any type of gaming company, corporation, or entity to buy in to one of their teams. And that's kind of the other thing about, pretty much any sports team of any league moving to Las Vegas. You have to know that those leagues are not going to allow said team to have MGM buy in 35, 40% of the team. Or Caesars Entertainment, or Wynn. You name it, all the big, even Bally's. All the different gaming and casino operations down there, they can't buy into the team. Wouldn't they love to? Of course. Wouldn't you love to have, wouldn't MGM love to have a team of their own in any one of the leagues? And then they get to brand it with travel packages, come stay at our hotel, come gamble a little bit, and we'll give you tickets to the game. We own the team. None of the leagues are gonna let the teams do that. So I know people suggest that, but I just don't think. I think the motivation is more from a baseball perspective, and all the other owners, they literally think, hey, wouldn't it be cool to have an MLB pro shop on the Las Vegas Strip with a new ballpark, and the A's can play there. Who cares about them? But our team will get to go play there a couple times a year. It's almost like other teams might be thinking about planning their vacations rather than the good of the game, or ripping a fan base away from a city that did not deserve to be treated like that. Alex, would you consider hosting a show on KNBR or 95.7? You know what, Alex? I'll tell you this. I'm going to be very honest. I'll do this live stream here for about 2 hours tonight, and I will be gassed. Now, there's no commercial breaks here, and I don't necessarily have a co-host to talk to, and that's why maybe in a little bit I'll take phone calls, because It takes the talking away from me. Like I'm, thinking a lot. My brain is working here for quite some time. But doing a 4-hour radio show every single day and bringing it the right way every single day, because Alex, you might tune in on a Tuesday and you hear one of my mediocre takes, but on a Thursday, I had such a good take, but then again, I don't want to repeat it on Friday. The point is you got to be relevant and fresh and up on your game and energetic 5 days a week, 4 hours a day. And I know you're thinking, well, some people work a lot harder than that. But you know what? It's also in the preparation for the shows and the stuff you do after the shows and your social media. So it's not just the actual show time. It's before and afterwards. But the 4 hours of show, it's fatiguing. Point is, I'm telling you, I don't know that I'm cut out for all of that as much to that frequency. The other thing about it is, I've carved out a little bit of a niche here in the Bay Area, and certainly, the hockey community is something I'm deep into and I'm very passionate about, and baseball is another thing that I've been doing now for the last 15 plus years professionally, and that's why I'm more in tune and interested in what the Giants are doing, and Willy Adames getting signed, and if Corbin Burnes does get signed here, you got to tell me in the live chat, people, because I'm not paying attention to Twitter right now. But those are the things that I'm interested in, and I will cover basketball, and I will talk football. Of course, I've been watching every 49er game this year. I know I'm missing the Warriors game right now. In fact, it just started. Houston's got a 4-2 lead. But the point is, I know that if I worked a show on there, they'd want me to cover a lot of the teams that I don't normally do, and that'd be fine. I will love to jump in and fill in here and there. I guess that's my answer here, and I think that's pretty much understood. I'm a fill-in guy. I jump in, I'll do some shows, I'll replace somebody, I'll bring some energy for a couple days, but I just don't know if I could do that in the long term, or if I'm suited for it, to be quite honest with you. I think I would do a radio show that sounded so different that maybe some people would say, this doesn't work for us. I would broaden the horizon of topics probably too far. Adam saying, also people become a member. Oh, Adam promoting the member section again. Yeah, and again, what I do with the member section here is I give you the videos in advance, and I respond to more of those comments because I see those member icons. So there are some small perks, but again, I try and keep it at the smallest price point for members. No pressure to anybody. My point is this: if you become a member of the channel, I love you and I appreciate it, and I'll try and make it worth the small investment. But if you don't, we're good, and I just appreciate you being here. Simple as that. Forget the Dubs. The Barracuda start in 5 minutes. And that was kind of a reason why I'm on here tonight. Again, I have to be done in about an hour, but I also wanted to do this for a little bit of time because I knew that the Sharks weren't playing. And if you miss the first half of a Warriors game, you're not missing the most important part. The final 4 minutes are all that really matters. All right. I appreciate that. LDO, incredibly well spoken. Incredibly distracted, too. I could go on and on here. I've been talking to myself for 57 minutes. But the point is, I've got so many things going on. I'm glancing at the live chat. I'm trying to click on the ones I want to see. Alex saying, let me know if you do. KNBR comes better over the air here in Arizona than one of the local sports stations. Yeah, I imagine at night that AM signal is pretty powerful. Let me see. Did I miss any other super chats? Should we might want to get to AJ's super chat. Oh, I did. Oh, we got to AJ. All right. We got to AJ. Somebody was mentioning 100,000 here. Congrats on hitting 60,000. I appreciate that, Ruben. Thank you so much for the super chat. Oh, somebody decided to be a member. Athletics 510. Parrot Guy 510. Welcome to exclusive access, Parrot Guy. Oh, when you get to 100,000, please do a 24-hour nonstop live stream. That would be an ultimate thank you to us supporters. I've been tempted about this for many years, actually. And there was a point where at my previous job, NBC Sports, this must have been right after I had our son, or I'm trying to remember the year, but It was mid to late 2010s, and I even suggested that for a charity or for something that I would consider, and it was this more when streaming came to be, that I would stay live in one of our studios for 24 hours as like a fundraiser. And they said, what would the charity be? And I offered some up, and they said, oh, we like all that. And then we never got around to it. Actually, I wonder if it was 2019, and I wonder if 2020 and the pandemic kind of washed all that away. Anyway, it's not a terrible idea. And especially now that I could rock out. Now, there's not a lot of I don't know where I'm sleeping here. Maybe I'm not sleeping for 24 hours. Do you know what like hour 22 is going to be like? Here's what hour 22 is going to be like. Oh, I'm so tired. I can't actually even do the acting here. Hour 22 is not going to be pretty. I'm just going to be head down. Just like. That is how I sleep, by the way. Apparently I snore sometimes. Not all the time. Sometimes. Dylan, Brody, you should do a watch along for some Sharks games. Just post up the game clock on your screen and we can sync up and watch together. Dylan, thank you for the super chat. First off, nice stunner shades. What are the pit vipers? Are those pit vipers? See, like when I was coming up, it was the Oakleys, right? That were like that. They were colorful and they had the no frame on the bottom and they kind of spiked out on the side. And then our pit vipers are the oversized ones, right? I know somebody's going to give me the clarification here in the live chat, but you know what? I've thought about that, Dylan, and I used to think about that when I was working for NBC. But I never wanted to take away from the actual game broadcast. And herein lies kind of the challenge on that. Like, I want to watch Randy and Drew. So, I mean, no offense to all of you, but I'm going to be selfish and I want to watch the game with their call and their broadcast. And you know what? Maybe the next game that is only exclusively nationally televised, maybe that's the way to do it. So Dylan, I appreciate your idea. It's a great one for me. In fact, you know what? I did this before with somebody else's idea. I usually write these things down. I have a little notes, the Apple Notes app. I have a channel page, but I'm just going to take pictures tonight. I will review this picture later of what your comment was, and I'll write that down later. That's a great idea. Dylan, I appreciate that. There was another one here. Where? Somebody was talking about the... Thank you, Alan. Congrats on 60K. I appreciate that. Oh, here it is. Supposedly the A's made a big push for Fried. Yeah. You might want to check the video that I've got coming out tomorrow about the A's and spending. And a report from The Athletic, Ken Rosenthal and Evan Drellick, saying that the A's have to try and spend $105 million for next year, this upcoming season's roster and their payroll. Because if they don't, they'll be facing a grievance by the Major League Baseball Players Association. And the crazy part about this is that the A's have to spend $100 to get their full $70. By the way, some type of air bubbles are popping back up. I apologize if I'm not trying to burp. It's kind of happening right now. The A's have to spend $105 based on the reporting of The Athletic to get away from the grievance. But if they do, they're in line for their share of the revenue check that they get in return from the luxury tax revenue sharing, right, of $70 million. It's a full share of revenue sharing starting this year and next year as well. That check, they think, is worth about $70 million. So if you think about it, they have to spend $100 to get $70, let's say $105 to get $70 in return. That means you're spending $35 million on players. That means you're actually spending less, like not the total amount. You're spending less maybe next year than you did this past year. But it looks more because the final total is over $100 million for the first time ever in franchise history. Crazy, right? If you actually think about what might be going on there. Let's see here. Oh, Adam is joining the channel as a member. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much, Adam. It's a great video. Thank you so much. Did I see somebody else here? Oh, this is on the 100,000 live stream. You do not have my permission to sleep. Coffee. Make friends with it. Could you imagine? Okay, here's a little personal insight. I drink coffee basically every morning, and I have a couple cups of dark roast. By the way, look at my watch. I was showing the Warriors and Rockets score right there. I have a couple cups every morning, and I like it, dirty. The dark roast, I like the dirt in there. But I could have coffee right now at 7:05 p.m. It doesn't keep me up. I used to have coffee when Curtis and I worked in the studio. We would have coffee going into the third period of a hockey game at 9 whatever p.m. I'd sleep just fine by 11:30 or whatever. So coffee is never really. Caffeine also is not something that jolts me, or at least I don't notice a difference. Now, if I drink 2 IPAs with no food in my stomach, I feel a difference. But coffee and caffeine, it doesn't affect me. I don't know if anybody else has that or if I'm just weird. Let me see here. They should build Howard Terminal. Do it now. I'd love to see what else comes of Howard Terminal. I just hope that it does not sit in its current state, just like the Coliseum. How they currently are cannot be 10 years from now. If one or both of them are looking the same as they are now, and look, what I'm saying is, let's say the Coliseum could be profitable doing other types of events. That's fine. But upgrade it a little bit. Spice it up a little bit. Don't make it the misery and the mausoleum that people play it out to be. Give it a second life then if you're really going to keep it. But don't let it rot. And don't let Howard Terminal be empty. Honestly, those would be the worst possible things for those two sites. Felix, another thought I've just had, Brody. Obviously, you have your own YouTube channel, but would you ever consider starting a blog on Medium or Substack? A problem with me, Felix, is that when I get down to writing something, when I get down to the written word, I kind of write how I talk. And I don't know that a lot of people read that way. I was propositioned recently. I think I can share this. I was propositioned recently to write a book. Yep, to write a book. And I don't want to share too much more than that. The topic, who it was, what they're suggesting. That's still in the process. It's still in the conceptual phase. So I don't want to go farther than that. But, as I got to thinking about, okay, what would the chapters be? What would the sections be? How would I divide this up? What would be the story I want to tell here with this book? And all the writing I've ever done is really for me to read in a script. I don't do a lot of writing. Outside of high school, college, educational situations, I don't do a lot of writing just to write something down so that somebody else can read it. Or it's written in a news script type fashion. So I write with a lot of dots. I write like I'm speaking versus I write how somebody's reading. So I guess that's the point, Felix, is that I struggle with writing, or it takes a long time too. If you said, here's 10 minutes, I want you to make some material on Willy Adames signing with the Giants. Okay. I'd rather come in here, record my video for 6 minutes, go in my other room and edit it all up, post it up to YouTube. I'd rather be done with it that. Otherwise, I'd be typing for 25 minutes. I wouldn't even be halfway through and proofreading it and all that stuff. So I like the idea, but I don't know that I'm suited well for it. Was it a tell-all book about Curtis Brown? It was, AJ, and it was about 3 pages. First page says, Curtis Brown is, second page, a bender. Third page, the end. Simple as that. We can get a ghostwriter. Oh. Wait, like Ghost Rider? Like Ghost Ride the Whip? Oh, Ghost Rider. Oh, got it. Write a book about Stephen. Write a book about how hard it is to write a book. Yeah, that would pretty much be it. Ooh, that audiobook would be fire. I think I would do the audiobook myself, and I would do it just like this. This is called proximity effect. into a microphone. It's supposed to make your voice sound a little bit more deep and bassy. This is like the movie trailer voice. Oh, Brunsnick! I watch Brunsnick's channel. Brunsnick. So I am backstory here. Bowler. I picked up bowling when I was a kid. Got into a little bit more in high school, and then when I had some free time out of high school into college. Actually, no, I take it back. College into like my working life, I started bowling a little bit more. And I had one ball. I Columbia 300. I don't remember the ball. The Bully, the Columbia Bully. Brunsnick, to answer your question, I am right now. My strike ball is the Hammer Black Widow. Is that right? The hybrid. Is that the right one? And I just have a spare ball. It's a Brunswick, I think. T-zone. It's a T-zone for the spare ball. I like hammer stuff, but that's the latest ball I got. That I think I actually got it for a birthday present. 1.5 years ago, coming up on 2 years ago. So the problem is, Brunsnick, and since you are an expert bowler, by the way, if you are interested at all in bowling, check out Brunsnick's channel. I'm still rolling a 16-pound strike ball, and my forearm, and I don't bowl often enough, right? So my hand and muscles they get sore afterwards, and I still get really weird, not even like blisters, but like bruises on my finger and thumb. So you know what, Brunsnick, maybe I would love to connect with you at some point. If you're still watching this, I hope, hopefully, would love to connect with you on some questions I have. If you could help me out, I would be forever grateful. But thank you for being here just in the chat. You have a great channel. I'm glad I found it, and I watch your videos as often as they pop up. Oh, there it is. Yep, the Widow 2.0 hybrid. Yep. See, it's weird. My brain is in so many places that when it's like, what's the bowling ball you have? And I can see it, and I know it's in the other room, but like my brain, I'm really fuzzy these days. It's time for me to go to bed early tonight, and that's also going to happen. So yes, the Hammer, the Black Widow 2.0 hybrid is what I'm using. But if you had any other recommendations, I would love to connect with you. So maybe I'll try and reach out to you, or let's get in touch. Appreciate that. Now is my whatever that says. Brody, you and the Hockey Guy are my go-to sports channels on YouTube. I appreciate that. The Hockey Guy is legit. I love what he does. I mean, he just cranks out material. He's so well versed. Like he belongs in a main chair on a sports network, on a hockey network, doing his thing. But he's doing better on YouTube, quite honestly. Yeah, he's carved a niche. Like people on the mainstream want him. He's already in the new media, and that's where a lot of people are trying to get to. New media. Yo, Brody, what was the last good restaurant you ate at here in the Bay Area? Holy shiitake. I don't know that I've tried anything new specifically recently, but I will tell you, and I think they have multiple locations around the Bay Area. It's called Curry Up Now, and it's Indian food, but it's food truck. I think they call it food truck inspired or food truck style, and so they mix like Indian food with some Mexican food. So it's like all the Indian spices and rice and all the fillings that you would have like on an Indian dish, but wrapped in a tortilla, like as a burrito style. I love it. Anyway, Curry Up Now. Highly recommend you check them out. And again, I think they do have multiple locations around the Bay. Waifu. It's very much an anime reference. Well, now you know I'm not really into the anime genre. Ooh, bitter spinach. A prediction on the White Sox stadium debacle. Let's talk about the White Sox for a second. Another two-team market, right? So you've got the Cubs, and they're dominant, and they're Wrigley Field, and they just renovated it, and over the years they spend more money. They are the number one in a two-team market. And then you've got the White Sox who built their stadium right before Camden Yards opened up. And so if you call it guaranteed rate, if you call it U.S. Cellular Field, if you call it New Comiskey, whatever you want to call it, it never lived up to anything that, the Baltimore Orioles got or the Colorado Rockies got. Like all those ballparks of the late 90s, early 2000s. Actually, I take it back, really more like early 90s is when Camden Yards opened up. The point being is that they're not in a spot, like the location of the ballpark, it's where it's always been, but it's not terrific. And the ballpark itself, uninspiring. So they're trying to move up to the 78, which is South Loop area. It's just unbelievable plot of land that it's right on the river. You can take a water taxi from proper downtown to this spot, and transit's good. It makes sense, but it's going to cost, and they're going to ask for like more than $1 billion of public funding to get this to happen. It's hard to fathom and see how it would happen. And you got ownership there that is expecting of that, is going to try and, they already ran a hard bargain just to get the current ballpark there. It's called Second Rate Field. I don't see the White Sox in the same way that I don't see the Angels leaving Los Angeles because that's such a huge market. I don't see the White Sox leaving, but if Nashville were an option, and by the way, I just saw a quote which came from a radio show, which I just downloaded the audio from. I'm going to listen to it from about a week ago, where I think it was the mayor of Nashville went on and said, yeah, public money, not happening anymore for public sports stadiums. They just gave $2.2 billion to the Titans of the NFL for their new stadium. Anyway, the point is, I think the White Sox are going to try and play this game, and I hate this game. Give us money or we'll leave. Remember when it used to be like 25 years ago when the Twins and Expos had stadium issues, and baseball's like, fine, we're gonna contract. And they voted, like baseball owners voted yes on contraction. 28 to, or is it 20? Yeah, it was 28-2 because I think it was 30 teams at that point. I think this was in late 2001. So the threat used to be, well, we're just going to take these teams away. People are like, okay, we doubt you'll do that. Now, baseball knows that taking the teams away is not the answer. Threatening relocation is. So I think, to answer that question, I think it's going to get played out. I think they're going to try and do that. They're going to try and play that game, but I don't think it's going to work on them. All right. Oh, Felix in the super chat. It's good to see you, buddy. All right, let's try this. So Florida thriving enough to have them host an outdoor game for next year, huh? Yeah, I saw that. I saw it come out that the Panthers are going to play at Marlins Park, which is interesting because, they've always said making the ice outdoors, it's not about heat. I mean, direct sunlight is impactful to the ice, and we saw that with the Lake Tahoe game of was that 2021? Pandemic game. Direct sunlight can cause issues, but the real thing is humidity. I talked to the ice guy. They call him negative 007. Daniel Craig was his name, like James Bond, Daniel Craig. And he was the NHL's ice guru. I think he might still be doing it. He did all the outdoor rinks for a long time for the NHL, and he was like, hey, let me just for all your reporting, just know that it's the humidity. It's not the temperature, it's the humidity. So I'm wondering in Florida, even in the wintertime, how that's going to be with humidity and ice conditions. And Marlins Park is, they can put the roof on over it, but it's still got that carport type vibe where I don't know that they can completely air condition out all the they can't dehumidify the stadium. So I do have some questions about that. Don't know the answer to that, but I do have those questions. You know what? And let me just say, Felix, and I know I'll bring this up too because I think you'll agree with me. We'll be on the same page. It has now been, 10 years since the Sharks have had an outdoor game, either as hosting it, right, at Levi Stadium like they did. That was 2015, right? hosting it or even being the road team in an outdoor game. To be quite honest with you, if, they told me that, anybody told me that the Sharks were going to play, you name it, whatever city, outdoors, somewhere in the West especially, I'm going to that game. Personally or professionally or whatever. At the very least, who knows when that game would be or what I'll be doing at that point, I'm going to that game, whether I'm working it or witnessing it. So, I know the league will be quick to tell the Sharks, hey, we gave you the All-Star game in 2019, and we gave you the number 1 overall pick with Macklin celebrating. No, they didn't give. That was a lottery system, but I do think it's time. I do think it's time for the Sharks to have an outdoor game again. I would love to see them host it. I mean, I know where it's got to be, right? It's got to be at Oracle Park. Has to be. They've done Levi's, and I know they love big venues, but think about the sweeping views of Oracle Park and the Bay Bridge and the Golden Gate Bridge and the skyline right there. So I'm going to, you know what? Video time. Thank you, Felix, for inspiring that, because that's my next push. I'm gonna say that the NHL needs to think about an outdoor game at Oracle Park, or maybe even, how about this? Five big league stadiums other than the ones that have already had. Maybe I shouldn't even limit it to baseball though. 5 stadiums the NHL has never used before that I think they should for outdoor games. That's a good one. How bad do your socks smell? Have I done this before, Anonymous Lizard? Have I? What socks was I even wearing here? Oh, I'm doing it. They do. I think they're just warm. I was trying to figure out, are they moist or are they warm? They're just warm. No, nothing. I didn't work out today. I didn't work out in them. I washed them. I only wear them once. I may have only been wearing these half the day. It's cold outside. Otherwise, I'd go barefooted. Yep, I just smelled my socks on the live stream. That's got to be worth some super chats, right? Just kidding. Do not super chat me for that. That is ridiculous. But who else is going to do that for you, huh? Who else is going to do that on the live stream? No! Wow. Imagine an outdoor hockey game at Bristol Motor Speedway. Well, they're going to have a baseball game there. I didn't actually know ALK. I didn't know if you knew that, right? They're going to have a baseball game. Was it Atlanta and who? Atlanta and the Reds at Bristol next year? Sniff his socks. Unsubscribed. There's absolutely no way bro just hopped on and got to do this. I've done that before. Look, let me be very transparent. If I had any reason to believe that I had a smelly sock on right now, no chance in hell that I would have actually smelled that. But knowing that the chances were like 99% sure that that was not going to be a factor, then I just did that, right? There you go. Oh, they used to do college bowl games at Oracle. That's right. Yeah. I mean, they can do hockey. Colin, good to see you, by the way. They can do hockey there. That's not going to be a problem. Is Brody smelling his socks? The Bay Area's version of Adam Wilde. Showing his feet on live streams. I don't know if anybody wants that. Definitely nobody wants that. All right. Should we look? It's 7:24. And I said that I would get to some phone calls. Should we do a few calls? Is anybody up for that? Let me open that up here. Get that going. Okay, it appears to me right now that I am able to take a phone call. Oh. Yeah, except for the most important part, right? Like, I didn't put the number up on the screen. There it is. 510-343-3640. And no, that is not my personal phone number. This is where's my hands? Separate special phone number. Like, I can play the piano on there. It's a separate special phone number that only gets used here for the live stream, or when I'm not streaming, you can just call in anytime, and if you ever want, leave me a voicemail. Simple as that. So I believe, I'm on Do Not Disturb. Turn that off. Let me make sure that, look at that. There we go. From the 416. Hello, from the 416. Who's this?
This is Adam in Toronto.
Adam, how is it going in Toronto? Or Tirana, as they say.
No, it's Toronto.
Yeah, I know. I'm just...
Don't bring up you say it just without it's like the capital of Albania, Tirana.
Tirana, how's it going? And thanks for staying up late, by the way. It's not as late as I normally am on, or you might be normally up, but thanks for doing this. How's it going?
It's going great. So I was joking that you could be on the radio for 4 hours.
You think so?
In Toronto. Oh yeah, if you're in Toronto, because all you have to do is say the Leafs are great or the Leafs suck for 4 hours, and that's all they talk about. There are 5 hockey teams. There are 5 teams here, and all they talk is hockey, 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 hockey. And I hate hockey, so it's a very difficult.
You're a baseball guy? What's your sport?
I'm every sport but hockey.
Wow.
Because hockey to me is a one position sport. Your goaltender is good, you win. Your goaltender is bad, you lose. And the Leafs have finally figured this out and went out and got good goaltenders.
So make the argument though for me though. I mean, how is that different from football? Your quarterback's good. Like if the Argos quarterback's bad, I don't know, they're not winning the Grey Cup. You like my CFL knowledge? Or if your pitcher's bad, you're not probably going to win the baseball game. It's not that different, is it?
Yeah, because you can your quarterback can be good and still you will lose.
You're saying like a running back can do something that the just hand
your
up?
If your line is no good, you get hammered.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
In baseball, you can only come out once every 4 days.
A starter can, right? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. And people never understand that basketball is just hockey without a goaltender.
So it
was actually invented from hockey. If you think about it, you know the old rules of baseball, of basketball, where they used to have a tip-off every basket, and there was a 3/4 line, which was like the blue line in hockey.
Yeah. James Naismith was a Canadian.
Yeah. So this is my idea for how to fix basketball.
All right.
Because everybody's going crazy about make the 3-point line stop at where the penalty line is. So in other words, there are no more corner 3-pointers.
Oh. See, I'm gonna take it a step further. I'm gonna do a 4-point shot.
Nah. No. Then they would get worse. Because then they'd be taking
4-pointers.
They'd be taking 4-point shots. No. They need to go back to somehow making it that you have to drive the basket.
Real quick,
I'm very old.
Do the Marlies get any love in Toronto, or is it just the Leafs?
No. It's in fact that's funny. It's not even a hockey town. It's a Leaf town.
Wow. Are the Scepters going to do well?
They're doing fabulously.
Have you seen their jerseys, and do they look like the Taylor Swift logo, by the way? The TS.
They do. Yeah. They look like a combination between the Taylor Swift logo and the Buffalo Sabres.
Oh, yeah, the color scheme. I agree. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, they're sharp.
And the Toronto Tempo is, I bet it doesn't make it to the season start.
Wow. Well,
people hate it.
In fairness, the Jays might never make it until the end of one of their seasons too. Because
I want Tampa Bay. I was the one who suggested that Tampa Bay. See, they made a huge. I think what would have happened is they could have really helped the league build their Spanish expansion.
Oh, you're saying if the Rays went to Mexico City?
Yeah, they would have gone there. Three. They say, we're only going to be here for 3 years. But then what would have happened, of course, is either the Rays would sell the team to Mexico City and there'd be an expansion team into southern Florida, or they'd never leave again. But there's a whole country. You're talking about like they would be to Mexico like
Right.
the Jays are to Canada.
I was just about to say, and you know it best too. That there's Jays fans in Vancouver and Alberta and Manitoba. I mean, it's coast to coast. It's a Jays country, and I know what you're saying that baseball it could be Mexico's unifying team. I get that.
Yeah, and the stadium is beautiful. I've been there. It is gorgeous. Anyways, thank you for doing this tonight.
Yeah. Hey, thank you. I appreciate that.
Have a wonderful night.
All right,
and good luck. Good luck. Good luck. Good health to your family.
Thank
and
you.
Have a very Merry Christmas.
When I meet you in person, I'm buying you some Timbits. We're gonna roll up the rim together. Yep.
Oh, you really hate me. Okay, bye.
See you later.
Thank you.
All right. Good to get calls from north of the border. How about that? We are international here. And again, I always say this. It's the power of YouTube. I love this. I love the fact that I can take chats from across the country, take calls from across the country, like this one from the 385. Who's this?
This is Chris.
Hey, Chris, where is the 385? I don't know that I've ever seen that one before.
That's Utah, buddy.
Utah!
You're one of your favorite places to talk about.
Here we go. Do you hate me
Oh,
or
yeah.
am I okay in your book?
Oh, you're great, man.
Oh, thank you.
I think NBC are idiots for letting you go.
Well, you said it, but I appreciate the support. And you know what? I talk about Utah in a sense that they've just put so many chips out on the table of like $900 million for the Smith Group, and another $900 million if it's the Larry H. Miller Group and the baseball stadium. So I mean, they've positioned themselves.
Carrots out there.
What's
We're
that?
throwing carrots out there. We got a $900 million carrot. We got a hockey team.
Yeah.
Sorry to Arizona. But let's face it, the Utah Hockey Club or the Yetis are doing really great.
Yeah.
And the support here for them is unbelievable.
How do you feel? Now, let me ask you this though. Let's understand. Let's establish this. You're proud to have a team, and the community is going to treat the team well. All that stuff. How do you feel as somebody though who is watching a team that literally got ripped out of the hands of a different fan base down, a couple hundred miles south in Phoenix? What is your sentiment? Do you at least feel for them on that?
Oh, I feel for them terribly. I mean, being in Utah, and I'm 60, going to be 64 this month, and we got the Jazz, and I remember we got them from New Orleans, and we got them that way and stuff, but we built on them. But we wanted, Utah is such a great sports state, and Salt Lake's such a great sport town, that we wanted a team so bad that I'm happy to have it. But I hate to see it come on anybody else's back off their loss.
Yeah. Well, that's well said.
I mean,
that's
it breaks my heart.
Yeah.
But I mean, you got these owners, and I'm thinking with the A's. I mean, I'm thinking the A's. Vegas don't want the A's. Let's face it. They want. Look what they did with the hockey, and they want a winning team. And Utah just wants a team.
Well, and there's a group called Big League Utah that's all they've been in for is trying to get a major league team, whether it's expansion or relocation.
I knew Larry Miller personally for a lot of years.
Oh, really?
And and Gail. I know Gail. I've met them all. I've known them all, and they're great people. And Ryan Smith is just unbelievably great for the state.
Yeah, he's done a lot already.
I just think Utah's prime. I think Utah's ready. I think, like I was reading on it, like you just said with Nashville, no more money. Utah wants them.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think with the Sunday thing we'll ever see football here, but but with like hockey, baseball, still love the Jazz, even though I don't know what's going on with the Jazz, but they're trying to pull the Boston thing. Danny Ainge is trying to pull that. I remember when he went to BYU, and I hated him there because I'm a Utes fan. But I mean, I just wanted to let you know, buddy.
Appreciate that.
You support Utah so well on this, and very open and very honest.
Well, you know what? Sorry. Go ahead.
And I just think that you are a very, very good sports broadcaster.
Appreciate that.
I'd like to see you be doing some Yetis, as they're going to be called, I think.
I agree. I agree with you on that. That is the inevitable name. Look, my position on Utah is just this. It's an interesting sports market. I still have some questions if they were really to get to being a Major League Baseball, NBA, and NHL market. It's a lot to take on at once, right? It's a lot to chew on all at once.
They got the money to do it.
I know.
You know why? No, I don't
You're
mean I don't want to break you,
Yeah.
but you know why it will work?
Why is that?
Because you got Utah, you got basketball and hockey in the winter.
Right.
Winter baseball plays.
Yeah, no, it balances it out, no doubt. No,
It does.
I'm not. I'm not. I want to make very clear. I'm not against it, but I'm interested in it. Right? Like it's fascinating to me. And I don't have any. What's the saying? Horse in the race, but I'm not from there, and I don't have any connections there. But I'm just interested in the process and how they're doing it, and what they're trying to do, and how they're being proactive, and so it's all interesting.
Oh yeah, I've been diving deep in it for the last 4 or 5 years when expansion really was starting to talk about it, and Utah was never even mentioned.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, boom, we're front running.
Yeah.
And
big time.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So but I wanted to let you know you are great.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the call. I'm going to try and get to a couple more here. I'm definitely
you betcha, my friend.
Tonight I'm staying up till 8 Pacific, and that's it. But I'm glad I got you in. And so be well. Thank you for the support. I really appreciate it. All right.
You betcha. I appreciate it. Thank you. Bye bye.
All right. We've had Canada. We've had Utah. Phone lines are open again. Let's see who the next caller is. There's always like a 10-second delay. If like when somebody realizes and they dial it in real fast, or maybe see they had it ready to go. We are chatting with the 706. Who's this?
Oh, it's David calling again from Georgia.
David, Georgia, what's going on? And thank you for giving me the geography before. That was my next question. Where is 706 again?
Of course. We spoke last time about the A's.
Yeah,
so
I remember that.
I'd call in and talk about the Rays this time.
Oh,
and the total
okay.
disaster that they have down there. No pun intended.
Well, it's kind of like it all comes with a hint of real life, right? Like Hurricane Milton and what it did to Tropicana Field. Like they wouldn't be nearly as in a messy situation if it wasn't for a natural disaster. But this is life. These things happen, and I don't like the way, honestly, either side is really going about their business. So what's on your mind about the Rays?
Well, I mean, I just, I think I went through the hurricane too, not Milton, but Helene. So definitely understand, all the difficulty and the destruction that it all went through. We got heavy hit up here in our region for about a month or so before it got back to normal. But yeah, so I mean, like with all that, it's definitely difficult. And I think there's a lot of this has been kind of brewing even before the storm hit.
Mm-hmm.
It just made things even worse with, the back and forth between the owners and the team and the local government there. But I mean, I just don't see how the league does not go and, with the situations now with both two major league teams playing in minor league stadiums, that the league does not come in and start enforcing, or, they may already have it in place. I haven't really looked into it, but saying, hey, every major league team needs to secure some sort of backup stadium replacement plan where, worst case scenario, if you need to finish the season somewhere else, we don't have to sit around here for a month twiddling our thumbs figuring out where we're going to play at, that we know, hey, if something happens to, say, I don't know, Yankee Stadium, they can go play over at the Brooklyn Cyclones, minor league park or something. So it's just kind of shocking to kind of see how this is all played out and this back and forth and angering all the sides. So I don't know. It is a mess down there. And I think it's going to pretty much end up, they say they're going to try and figure out something with the stadium. I don't see it working out. I think they're bound to leave Tampa at this point.
How do you think a temporary year? Have you ever been to the Steinbrenner complex, the Steinbrenner Field Stadium in Tampa?
I've been past it. I've never been in the stadium itself, but I see it's a nice park and everything, but I just think the temperature for baseball, especially even in South Florida, I mean, we know the Marlins have been struggling with attendance stuff for many years.
Right.
I think it's just struggling all around. And, I think I hate to say it because I know there's a lot of Tampa Bay, fans that want to see them stay. But, if they really wanted them to stay, go to the games, start showing up. You have to put that effort to keep your team there, because if not, they're going to pack up and leave to Utah. They're going to pack up and go to Nashville or Portland or wherever that team wants to try and land at.
The counter, though, is this, and I'll only counter you on one thing, is if the team is operating in such bad faith, right, or they're doing the things to almost sabotage the season, and I don't know, like, this is an exact existence of what the Oakland A's were for the last decade plus of trading away letting all the good players go, or trading them away, or not getting returns, or never spending. And I think that's what turned the fan base off to not showing up anymore. And we saw it with the Rays. Was it their playoff game 2 years ago? It was like an attendance. It was the smallest attended Major League Baseball playoff game. I think it was like a 19,000 attendance for that game, which was the smallest playoff attendance game since like 1919, when there was also a pandemic going on back then. Anyway, my point is, I'm not here to knock Rays fans, and I certainly hope that Tampa doesn't lose their team. But I've seen how this happens, and I also understand if Rays fans are like, hey, look, we've had enough of this back and forth, and we have a hard time supporting this. But I don't know if the same thing has happened in Tampa as it did in Oakland. So, but attendance also isn't everything. I also think that if you're the Rays, you moved into that stadium, which was, I know, built before you even existed. It's never been great for baseball. It's never been a great situation, so it's hard to judge.
Yeah, it hasn't. And of course, that's the hot new topic thing, like we were talking tonight about with the White Sox. It's like, everyone, it's funny how, you even look at, some places that got built almost even 20 years ago now.
Right.
It's like, oh, it's old. We got to tear it down, build a new one.
Right.
It's like it's not even
right.
In adult terms, not even old enough to drink there.
Right.
But it's just insane.
Yeah.
It's like soon we're going to be 10 years, 5 years. It's like new ballparks every year. It's great.
Check this out. I'll give you since you're a loyal, subscriber of the channel here, I'm gonna read to you what I started typing down some notes earlier of a video idea I was gonna do in the future, and it's gonna be the 5 most disturbing sports trends entering 2025. One of them is so many teams using relocation through negotiation, right? Just like, if we don't get what we want here, we're gonna go there. That's one of them. Stadiums with only a 30-year expected lifespan. That's, to your point, that's what you were just touching on. Head injuries, that's always going to be a big one for me. Like, how many guys this year in football, like Tua and a bunch of other players, a bunch of quarterbacks, we've seen them get hit. We've seen their body do that fencing thing where they're like rigid for a while and the concussion is so deep. Anyway, head injuries are another thing. We just overall, football, hockey, they need to be figured out a little bit better in sports. And then another one, I don't have 5 yet, but my 4th was going to be how difficult it is sometimes to find your team on a television channel or on a certain stream that they're on, because every league has gone to this diversified product, which is great for them, and it's great for business to have multiple partners. But if I want to watch, I don't know who your team is specifically, but if you want to watch them on a given night, are they on the same channel? Are they easily found? Do you have to have 6 different subscriptions just to watch one team in one season? So I think that's a frustration factor.
Of course, and I'm a Braves fan down here in Georgia, of course. And
right.
So, we went through that with early in the season because, they had that, the Bally sports dispute and everything,
right.
which kind of pulled a lot of the Braves games off the air. And so everyone's like popping on Facebook, where can I watch the game tonight? Does anyone have like an Apple TV Plus subscription to watch them play like the Yankees or whoever? It's definitely something the league needs to, attack as an issue for this year. I hope they're talking about it at the winter meetings, obviously. This week, but there's a lot of impending things moving forward that the league needs to address. Obviously, salary cap is going to come up again with this whole Juan Soto deal and some other stuff that's going down. So I think it's going to be a tough year for the league and the commissioner about facing these issues that are really going to be pending in the next year.
Yep. Well, it's interesting times. Like I think in the points that what you just said and the things I'm bringing up here in the YouTube channel, I feel like we are all 6 months, 8 months, 10 months ahead of where reality is yet. But I'm not saying, I hope we're all right in pointing these things out. I suspect that a lot of the questions that all of us have, whether it's the new contracts and the TV money and everything changing, like there's going to be something to this eventually. I just don't know what it's actually going to bring. Is there anything else before I let you go?
Just all the best to you, Brody.
Oh,
Wish
I appreciate
you and your family happy holidays. And
thank you.
We'll see you at 70,000 subscribers soon enough.
We'll be streaming again before you know it. Thank you again for the call, and I appreciate you staying up late tonight in Georgia.
All right. Appreciate it, Brody.
All right. Thanks a lot. All right. We have, it's amazing. I'm a Bay Area guy. I'm a NorCal guy, and we've only taken calls from across the country and across North America so far. It's 7:45, coming up on 7:45. I'll do a couple more. and then I'll finish with the live chat in just a second. I don't want to leave the live chat hanging. Our first 510 caller of the night from my favorite area code, the 5. Oh, hung up on me there. All right. From the 602, who's this?
Hello. I'm actually on the air right now.
I'm sorry, who's this?
Hi, this is Desert Eagle. I submitted a super chat last stream.
Hey, Desert Eagle, how are you?
A little bit jittery. I didn't think I was actually going to get on tonight, but glad to be here. To be talking to you.
Yeah. Hey, where is the 602? Is that Arizona?
That's Phoenix.
Oh,
Yep.
Phoenix. Okay. Yeah, I recognize that a little bit.
A little bit awkward. Kind of awkward considering there was a Utah guy a little bit ago, but I got to give him credit. He was gracious.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty good. Watched myself an emotional hockey game. Sorry, I'm a little bit jittery.
It's okay. You a hockey
Watched
fan?
myself an emotional hockey game because, obviously, the whole Phoenix situation with the NHL and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, a lot of our fans here in Phoenix at NHL, there's some swore off the NHL, some decided to move on. I decided I was going to latch on to a new team, Minnesota, by the way.
Okay.
And just fill the void because I watch baseball and I watch hockey. Those are the two sports I follow. I don't watch the NFL or the NBA. So I thought it was best if I just moved forward with a different team to fill the void instead of just grieving, if that makes sense.
What happens when you see the Utah Hockey Club like playing a game on TV and you recognize, Clayton Keller and some of the players? What emotions do you have right now? Is it still painful?
Let me tell you. Last night, because like I said, Minnesota, that's the team I'm rooting for now.
Right.
Beautiful up there, by the way. I was on a trip up there in July, but
nice.
Nonetheless, I was watching that game last night. It was tough.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to lie to you. It was tough. It was the first time I'd seen them on the ice since they moved.
Yeah.
It was tough. Clayton Keller scored a couple goals, played a great game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just remembering how many times he pulled a great game for us down here in Phoenix.
Right.
But it was emotional. It was an emotional experience. But the Wild pulled it out in the shootout. Very, very tough game. And honestly, that helps me as a fan, as a hockey fan, just get that experience of seeing them in a different uniform in a different city. For the first time. I know that Utah and Minnesota are in the same division. They're going to be playing each other a lot this year, 2 times this year. So I think after this first time, it's going to be easier. And basically, I guess my take, if I had one, is, for anybody that's been through a team relocation, not easy, but you can move forward. You can definitely move forward. And I know that if it's fresh, like in your instance with the A's, of course,
right, it's
not reassuring too much right now. But you know what they say: time heals all wounds and all of that. But I've managed to have a fun hockey season nonetheless, especially since Minnesota is playing so well. I was not expecting that when the season started, so it's been great. But yeah, it was tough, but I got through it at the end of the day, so it was good.
I appreciate you for sharing that because honestly, and that's, I think I remember watching the last Coyotes game at Mullet Arena at the end of last season. And I know Todd Walsh and Todd and I have talked about, just what that was like to cover it because I knew I'd be doing the same thing with the A's at the end of this baseball season. And so the Coyotes are one step ahead of the situation. And I'll say the other thing that, and I had this thought earlier on in the live stream here is that it's different with the Coyotes and A's in a sense that the Coyotes at least changed their name, their image, their likeness. If there ever is, and I think there's a large chance that there will be another NHL team in Phoenix, they can be called the Coyotes again. And it won't be the same really, but they can do it all over again versus the A's who took the name, the color, the logo, all the merchandise that people have. And I still drive around and see bumper stickers and people wear hats and it's just their stuff. Their stuff is now tainted. At least in Arizona, there's room and there's space for the Coyotes to exist again. So, but I appreciate what you shared there. Yeah, I really do. So,
and and also the Raiders too. Also,
that's another one. Yeah, same. The Raiders, I'll tell you, the thing about the Raiders is they were always such a nomadic team, going from Oakland to LA, back to Oakland, and then to Las Vegas, that it's almost like you kind of saw it coming, that they never stayed put for more than 25 years. But I agree with you that it's still those same feelings. Hey, I'm going to try and get to one or two more calls here before I call it quits. I really appreciate you being on the Super Chat and calling in. Very kind of you.
All right, yeah, thank you. You do a great job, and I
Thank you.
cannot wait to be there for the 100K stream and see you get that silver play button they give you. So for
And the
100 stuff, that would be great.
And the 24-hour live stream that comes with it, huh?
That would be fun.
I might do
Think
it.
about probably a long way from now, but what about 1 million?
Oh gosh, I'll be I might be dead by then, but
That's all good. Well, I appreciate you taking my call.
thank you so much,
thank
Eagle.
you.
I appreciate you. Have a good night.
You too. Thank you.
All right. Let's do let's do one more. Let's do one more. And then I don't know if I'm going to get back to the live chat. Let's try and do one more and then go back to the live chat. From the 847. Who's this?
Hey, hot dog.
Hot dogs?
It's Hal.
It's Mr. Hal. What's up, buddy?
How you doing?
I'm glad you got in. How are you? You're a dad now.
That's right. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Calm from the basement, so don't disturb the little one.
I was going to say, sleep is so important for you. How the heck do you have time for me right now? Or maybe you're up between feedings, or maybe you're on that vibe right now. How old is your child?
He's 11 weeks now.
Oh, you are in the thick of it, buddy.
Yeah.
Congratulations,
Yeah.
by the way.
Yeah. No, it's been total. I mean, it's been fun. I mean, sometimes you're just like, how am I going to get through this? But like for most of the times, I mean, especially since he's like started to like be able to smile at me, I'm just like, oh, this is great.
Yeah.
This is great.
Oh, yeah. It gets wait until they laugh at you, and then wait until they communicate with you, and then wait until they're telling jokes about you and making fun of you. Then you got like 5 or 6 years on that one. But that's where that's where I'm at now. So congrats, man. I'm so happy for you. Thanks for calling in, Hal. How are you doing?
Yeah. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. But I really wanted to say that I think I saw your video saying that Oakland needs like a baseball task force.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah.
And I think that's like such an excellent idea, especially with a new mayor coming in.
Right.
And I really feel like I was always hearing all these rumors about, there's these people who want to buy the A's or this or that, or it's Joe Lacob, or it's I actually I've heard a bunch of other, probably half of them are false, but I just figure like at some point, it's time. I know why they couldn't get out there because they didn't want to like completely embarrass baseball.
Right.
But like at some point, it's like, okay, well, if the A's are gone,
right.
Now it's time. It's time to get out there.
Show your face. Identify yourself, right? And I think too, it has to be a situation where the city has and the task force has identified the right people in business, in finance, in sports, in politics. They've identified the two options for the sites. There's no red tape around them. It's like it's done. Like pick your choice. Which one? Where do you want to build? How do you want to do this? We've got options. We are ready to go. But all of this takes work and a little bit of effort and some initiative. I don't know who's behind the start of that, because I don't see it from anybody. You know what? If somebody asked me to be a part of it, I would. But I don't. I'm not the person to start it either.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's got to be the next administration. And hopefully they
care enough.
Hopefully somebody will.
But there are as you know, and I tried to say this at the beginning of that video, there are so many actual problems, like real life problems that Oakland has in priority versus trying to talk to baseball again. It's hard to put this into that same equation. However, I do think there is the capacity, as I've heard this one before, to chew gum and walk at the same time. I do think.
And other, it takes a lot of money to hire more police officers, but it doesn't take any money to get Brody Brazil off his butt and into a conference room with, and if there are those people who want to buy the team, they're obviously going to put in their work right now. So,
Right.
Yes, there is a lot of other issues, but hey, it's free to start this commission.
Well, no, and I don't want you to think that I'm doing this for free. Now, wait a second. You said it doesn't take money to get me in. It takes a lot of money to get me in a conference room. Just kidding. No, but you're right. It would have to be a lot of people doing this on their own, but seeing the bigger purpose. And,
but people want to do that.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And I'm in. I would be in on that. But I also need to know that you can be connected with, the ownership groups that would be interested and the politicians that would be interested. So. I don't know.
The one thing that the Bay Area has that an advantage over a lot of other places is it has a lot of people with a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
And
right.
so if those people are going to stand up, or one of those people or a group of those people are going to stand up and say, we want to spend the money to get a team here, then unfortunately, I think that it lives or dies with that.
Yeah. Next administration is going to be huge, though. To your point, I think that is the determining factor, and you can't wait 5 years to do this. You got to kind of start now, and we'll see what the next mayor and administration is actually going to do, or probably not do. So, what else do you want to get to?
One idea, if you're looking for a fifth worrisome thing in sports, I think, is just the amount of sports gambling that's been going on, and I didn't really realize, because I just don't do it. I didn't realize how much, I watched a YouTube video recently of somebody who just as an experiment signed up for a bunch of these apps, that are constantly being advertised.
Right.
And the amount of push notifications and the amount of, gamification of all the sports gambling that happens, on your phone. And I'm hooked to my phone in ways that I don't like. And I can't imagine if those things that I was hooked to my phone was sucking, getting me to constantly gamble money. It's just it's a shame, because, what's so great about sports is that it is this fun thing that isn't necessarily political, and it isn't necessarily, real, and it's just I feel like it's a shame that, and it's scary to fight against it, because I think everyone's well, this is going to be the future of how teams are going to make money, especially without cable TV and stuff. But but man, it seems to be, it's a shame to think that, with young kids watching the games too, that you're going to have to tell them, you see these ads all the time. Do not do this.
Yeah, be careful about it.
Ruin your life.
So here's the thing I want to bring to the table on that. With sports betting reaching a new audience of people that maybe don't go play a poker table all the time, or not pulling the slot machine all the time. So if you're reaching millions of new people at a time into the world of gambling or gaming or wagering, whatever we want to call it.
Yeah.
Let's say that only 1% of the public has a gambling problem, an addiction to some degree, or a financial situation that's really, really rough, that they shouldn't be doing this. But 1%, take that 1% and spread it across 1 million people or 10 million people. That's a lot of people. You know what I'm saying?
That's a lot of people.
1% is one of every 100. Times that, whatever it takes to get to 1 million and 10 million. There's a lot of people now that didn't have a problem before, but because you shoved it in their face, now they've got a problem. And now we're dealing with an epidemic of this problem. So,
and if you look at other countries that have had this for a long time, they have different rules. I think in Australia or something, you can't advertise, sports betting when a game is going on, or in the stadium. It's legal, but you can't do it. It's sort of like cigarettes. You can't have cigarette ads on TV and stuff. And I'm just worried about the direction it's going in, and it's just
that's a great one.
Obviously, I'm bitter partly that Las Vegas has stolen my team, but
I had no clue about that, actually. I wiped it from my memory. No, you know what? You make a great point, and I'm definitely going to put that down in my video as the fifth topic, because when you said it, when you were going there, I was like, I think I know what he's going to say, and it's spot on. So, Hal, man, you know what? I would love to chat with you more. I'm going to get off the stream here at like 8 o'clock, which is what we're up against right now, and then I'm going to do a few more live chat, or a little bit of live chat, and then I'm going to be done. But so I hate to rush you off, but I'm just looking at the clock.
No. Yeah, we'll chat. We'll chat later. Thank you so much for letting me hog the live chat here.
You've always been the best, and I appreciate all of your efforts over the years, and especially when you did that. What'd you call it, the A's fan bracket thing, or what was it, the Twitter?
That's right. Yeah.
And who did I end up losing to? I lost to.
Oh, I think you lost to Brian, last dive bar.
Oh,
Brian,
right. But I beat
more
Dallas.
Importantly,
I beat Dallas. So that's all
right.
that really mattered to me. And Stu wasn't even close. So
that's right.
That's
right. You know, when Stu ends up owning a baseball team, you just let him know. You let him know.
I'm
A's fan Twitter bracket.
I'm probably not hired anymore, but all right. I appreciate it, Hal, man. You be well, and be a good dad.
Right,
I know you are.
All right. See you.
All right. See ya.
Bye.
Hal, the hot dog guy, is our final call tonight. And what I really want to do is I'm going to spend just the final couple minutes here in the live chat. If anybody else wants to jump in, look, I will prioritize super chats, not going to lie, but I'm going to try and get to everything that I can here at the very end of this stream here, because I got away from the chat just a little bit. So try and get back to that. Cole, love to see you live. Thoughts on the next ideal Giants move? You know, pitching, probably. The rotation with Hicks last year got a little bit thin, and by the end of the year, when you've got a young rotation, and you can't just sit on Logan Webb all year long, and hopefully, Robbie Ray is a full season of good Robbie Ray, and I think, and let's be honest, like what Blake Snell brought in the second half of last year, you got to find a way to replicate some of that. So I think they went after the shortstop position first. That was on my radar. I think first base is still a question mark. Maybe corner outfield is still out there and up there. But I do think that starting pitching is probably what's next. Oh, man, Edison, do you have the last episode of High School Sports Focus? Wow, it's 18 years this month since the final show. Team was on the show on the Friday night of Thanksgiving week for 2005 to 2007. Wow, Edison, that is awesome. Thank you for bringing that up. I do have the last episode, and I believe if you search my channel, like the very final few moments of Sports Focus, the how it ended, the montage we played at the end, I think it's here on my channel. So check that out. But wow, I didn't realize 18 years ago since that show ended. Like a lot of life has happened from then till now for me. 100K coming up. I've already said for 100K, I'm considering this. I'm considering doing a 24-hour live stream. Just going to put it out there. I'm not against it. I'm probably going to regret it. I probably won't do it here in my home studio. I'll probably do it from somewhere else that I can like lay down on a couch for a while. But I'm really thinking about doing it. Let's see here. Can you let us know ahead of time when you'll be doing live chat? I just saw this by accident almost when it started. Yeah, you know what, Gerald, I will do a better job. I think in the future of making sure that the I think I put the live stream up this afternoon. I'll try and do it a day or two ahead of time next time. Desert Eagle, now a member of the channel. Just talked to Desert Eagle on the phone. That's awesome. Yeah, Jeff, a 24-hour live stream. Honestly, I'm now that I have all the proper equipment and resources, and I can do it from my house, I'm much more inclined to do that than like I was saying before earlier on in the stream. I think it was 2017 or 18 or 19 that I told my work, I said, if we want to do something for charity, I'll stay up in the studio for 24 hours. We'll see or we can put it on the television. We can put it on a television channel when there was no games on for a 24-hour time period, but just never got around to it. 100,000 subscribers, 24-hour stream. Oh, 500K meetup with subs? Yeah. Honestly, is it Vincente? You know what? at 100,000, we're probably going to do a meetup or something like that too. 100,000 is too big to play down or to not play up. So Brody smelling his socks is hour 23 material. I mean, I honestly don't know why this is such a, like, it. I did it before. This is what my sock looks. I've been wearing this sock all day. Ooh, actually, it didn't smell as good there. I smelled a little something there. It's not bad though. I mean, you can't. Again, let me explain it if you weren't watching before. There's no way I would try that if I had any idea or reason to think that it would be a stinky sock. Like if I ran or rode the bike or did some running today or working out, there's no way I would do that. I also haven't had my sock in a shoe for all day long. So no, that's no. Clip it and ship it. Felix, I don't know if we're still doing roll call, but if you want to do that before we're signing off, let's do that. For anybody that's still here, oh yeah, real quick also, Colin, the Holiday Inflatable song, pretty darn good. And you know what? It's hard to top Holiday Sweater, the San Jose Sharks holiday video of 10 years ago. Hard to top that. So I don't think they tried to do that. They tried to build on that and do something similar, yet different, yet same theme, but a little bit interesting. I thought they did a great job. Again, it's really hard to get that or do that the right way, to follow up the right way, but I think they did just about as good as they possibly could have done. Hello from Kirkwood. Hello from Palm Coast, Florida. Pretty sure I could only stand 23 hours of you live. Hey, I might sleep for an hour. Like I might sleep on the live stream. And I know I'm not the first to do that. I think a lot of people do a 24-hour live stream, but I don't know how I would handle it, to be honest with you. Fremont, California for Felix. My socks can't be worse than sniffing smelling salts twice during a live broadcast. Yeah, I've done that before. Riverside. Send it to Randy and Drew. Sharks making the playoffs in 2027. Drew, that's it's compelling. I mean, look, you got to think about the progression here. 24-25 is this year, and they're losing a lot of close games. Look at last night, a 1-goal game. I said last night after the game that this is going to turn into a situation where all of a sudden then they're winning the 1-goal games. But that still doesn't mean they're winning a lot of games. So it's steps. It's a progression. So long as you can see the progress and you can see tangible, differences. Yeah, I think 2027 is pretty realistic. I mean, it's conservative maybe. I think this team might be ahead of schedule, if I'm being completely honest. Now, I'm not going to guarantee them anything, but, if we're talking 26, 27 or 25, 26 is actually next season. That sounds crazy. It sounds so far away, but yeah, 25, 26 is the start of next season. Thoughts on the Rays ballpark? Do you see the Rays playing in a minor league park? You know what? I'll tell you this. I don't see the Trop getting fixed anytime soon, especially if the minimum cost is going to be close to $60 million. What if it's $80 million or $90 million? How are they going to spend that and then also approve another $500 million from the city, $300 million from the county, and do these projects side by side that take a year for the old stadium and 3 years for the new stadium? I think the Rays are going to be playing at Steinbrenner Field for a couple years. Now, where they go after that, like they're building a bridge to we don't know where. And they're going to be stuck on that bridge for a little bit. Daisy and Eric from Palo Alto, appreciate both of you. Do I watch every Shark game? Yes, I do. I've never stopped. Orem, Utah, Baltimore, Troy. How you doing, buddy? You know what, Troy? I don't know if you like the Orioles. I think I see orange in your background there. I've kind of always liked the Orioles, really have, and they're the underdogs, obviously, of the AL East every year. Great ballpark, good fan base. I think I really like their new owner now. Good situation. It wasn't always a great situation, but I think good situation again in Baltimore for the Orioles. Arlington, Texas for Zachary. Sierra Vista, Arizona, originally from the Tri-Valley. Ooh, that's my neck of the woods. Clifton, New Jersey. Cloverdale, V-Town. Union City, Phoenix, Sacramento. David saying congrats on the 60,000 subscribers. I really appreciate that. Long Island. Look at that, Troy. See, I knew you liked the O's. I think I see the logo in the background. But Oxnard, living in Las Vegas. Vincente, I wish you the best. Angels Camp, way out there. And the Ravens, too. No surprise. Stony Point, Ontario. Salt Lake City, Utah. Haledon, New Jersey. Am I saying that right, David? Haledon? Loyal to the soil. Dan is from the town. Cole says, hey, Brody, you may have talked about this in some of your videos, but what happens to the Oakland Coliseum now that the A's are gone? Well, the Roots and the Soul, 2 professional soccer teams, are going to play there. I know they'll have other events and concerts that they previously were not able to do there, but I just think something has to happen for the Coliseum, for the site, for the complex, for the future of Oakland. Like, not just the Coliseum building itself, all of that land, that parking lot, they need to do something productive with it. I'm not even here to say that I have a front-running idea. I've got a bunch of ideas, but something productive needs to happen there. Todd in San Ramon. All right. Okay, I think we are going to we're going to call it right there. Call it a night. We're going to call it a live stream. I imagine that most all of you are subscribing. Certainly if you're in the live chat, you have to be a subscriber, so I appreciate that. Thank you so much to everybody who showed up and showed out tonight. The live stream was good. This was a good one. And we'll do it again sometime soon, but I wanted to say thank you for 60,000. All right. That concludes tonight's programming. Let me see if oh yeah, look at that. Now broadcast has concluded. So just want to say thank you to everybody, and won't be long until you hear from me again. New video coming out tomorrow and the next day. Got some good stuff lined up, so we'll see you back here on the channel sooner than later. Good night.